Earlier this week, Duke University announced that they would start to do a weekly call to prayer each Friday for Muslim students. It'd be played from their chapel bell tower. That was greeted very happily by the Muslim chaplain at Duke, who said, "The collective Muslim community is truly grateful and excited about Duke's intentionality towards religious and cultural diversity." So grateful and excited. There were many other people who were also excited but less grateful. The evangelist Franklin Graham posted this on Facebook. Duke University announced today that they will have a Muslim call to prayer from their chapel bell tower every Friday, as Christianity is being excluded from the public square and followers of Islam are raping, butchering, and beheading Christians, Jews, and anyone who doesn't submit to their Sharia Islamic law. Duke is promoting in the name of religious pluralism. I call on the donors and alumni to withhold their support from Duke until this policy is reversed. And that there is the most reasonable opposing view I've heard towards that move. They very quickly backtracked. There will be no call to prayer. An anonymous Duke official told the news outlet Talking Points Memo that significant and credible concerns about safety and security led to the reversal. So understand, they don't want the call to prayer to be done because Muslims are so damn violent. And so when they heard that it was going to happen, they threatened to attack the school.
Got to fight fire with fire, Johnny.
Exactly.
That's all that is. A little Christian fire
with
against
a little bit of irony.
Yeah, it's a little candle from the Christians against the blowtorch of the 700 students at Duke University.
Yeah, threatening both the school and Muslim students at the school. And Duke put out this statement. Duke remains committed to fostering an inclusive, tolerant, and welcoming campus for all of its students. However, it was clear that what was conceived as an effort to unify was not having the intended effect. So, as I said, no call to prayer at Duke going forward.
So I think there are three different reasons that Duke backpedaled on this. And earlier in the week, I'd done a story about, hey, good job, Duke. You know, you don't. It's nice to reach out in a moment and say, hey, you know what? As Jimmy pointed out, we got 15,000 students here at Duke, and 700 of them are Muslim, right? They go to here just as much as anybody else. They pay their tuition as much as anybody else. A Muslim American is not 98% American, he's 100% American, and he has the same exact rights everybody else does. So it was a really nice move, and then now, of course, they've ruined it. Three reasons. One, you've got the people like Franklin Graham yelling at him, right? Oh, the followers of Islam, in his words, are raping and butchering everybody, right? So that's bigotry, full stop. There's not a question about it. Franklin Graham is a grotesque bigot of the biggest variety, and he would actually feel really at home in things like the Taliban, ISIS, Al-Qaeda. He's our version of it.
KKK?
Yeah, I mean, because he thinks, I hate those guys, and I'm going to label all of them, 1.6 billion people who follow Islam, as rapists, murderers, etc. I mean, look, we're getting to a kind of a scary point in the country where now, for the first time, I'm getting a sense like this is kind of how Germany probably felt at some point, where they would just start saying things about the Jews, and then it became kind of like, well, they didn't fight back that much. The people didn't fight. The other Germans didn't fight back that much.
It's not worth defending them in this case.
Right. I mean, but look, they would say, but the Jews do have a lot of money, and they are in the banking sector and stuff. It's true. They would say, right? What are we hearing right now? But the Muslims do attack. They are disproportionately terrorists. It's true. We should hate the Muslims.
Christianity is being excluded from the public square.
Right. It's okay. It's okay to hate the Muslims and the followers of Islam. They're all at fault, right? I mean, and they're winning. They're not losing it. Those bigots are now winning, right? So that's the Franklin Grahams. And then you got the guys who, of course, ironically say the Muslims are so violent, if you do anything that's, understands other Muslims, then I will commit violence against you. I can't believe that they missed that irony. Isn't it amazing that there's a world full of people so stupid that they would miss that irony, right? But I think the biggest factor here were the donors to Duke. I think that Franklin Graham saying, hey, look at this. You guys going to let him get away with this stuff? Remember when you used to go to Duke in the 1950s and we hated everybody that wasn't white? Yeah. And that good old church was for Jesus and not for Allah? And I guarantee you that a lot of donors, or enough donors, called in to spook the dean.
Oh, yeah.
And so all of a sudden, because those are the guys who rule any university.
It would just take one guy with $1 million. That's all. Like, hey, I'm not going to give you that $1 million for that thing that I was going to put your name on. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's all it takes. Yeah, it wouldn't take much. Exactly. I'm sure it came down to money, and Franklin knew exactly where to go. He knew the Achilles heel of Duke University was their donors.
Yeah.
Well, you know, it's first of all, what was really scary is he's got 76,000 likes on that thing. I'm
Yeah.
like, whoa, I've been posting the wrong stuff. I've been posting like, how about peace and tolerance? You know, 1,000 likes, 76,000 likes.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is two things. First of all, I was born in Iran. I'm not really religious, but when I came to America in the late 70s, right around the revolution, when the hostage situation happened, there was an older kid that would pick on me and call me a fucking Iranian. And back then, that's what you call somebody, fucking Iranian. That was the term.
Right.
And I've seen videos of like Iranians getting beaten up just for being Iranian. And what you were just saying, these people don't think for a second, like, wait a minute, I fled that country.
Yeah.
I got away from that regime because I don't agree with them. Yeah. And now you're blaming me for something that they did. It's like, you idiot, I'm on the same side as you. So what you're saying is true, which is, this guy is saying that all these people are violent, and you're like, no, you should differentiate. There's a minority of guys who are taking guns and going into Charlie Hebdo and shooting people, and there are these people that are trying to do something else and live peacefully. You know, and what's interesting to me is this happened to me over the holidays, and in my mind, whenever I talk about people like him that make that comment, sometimes I think these people can't really exist in that big of numbers. But you travel to some parts of the country, you realize, wait a minute, there is a majority of people who think like this. And this happened to me over the holidays. I'm Iranian, my wife is Indian, our neighbors, black and white. And our sons, 6-year-olds, play with each other. Multi-ethnic Los Angeles, they're used to it.
Right.
The neighbor's kid's cousin came from Wisconsin to hang out. 6-year-old from Wisconsin, fully white, doesn't see a lot of this stuff.
Right.
I took him to go see Annie, all the kids. We go to the bathroom to wash our hands. Indian Sikh walks in, washes his hands with the turban on, walks out. 6-year-old kid from Wisconsin, jaw drops, turns to me, goes, that guy was ISIS. And I was like, no. I go, no. He's an Indian Sikh. He's not ISIS. I go, my son.
I'm ISIS.
No, I swear I got confused because I go, my son. I go, my son is Indian. Dara's Indian, who the guy you've been playing with. And he's like, he's ISIS? And the kid got all confused.
No, he's ISIS on the other side, my side.
But my point I'm trying to make is that there's a lot of people who really believe that the people who go in and shoot people at a cartoon, at a cartoon magazine, are all Muslims. So those 700 students on that campus are gonna, once the call to prayer comes, that's that moment in the movie Salt when the word has been said and they're all gonna grab the guns and go and shoot people.
The chip activates.
The chip activates with Allah, and then like, the chip comes out. You know, it's like, you idiot. Like, you're supposed to embrace these people and let's find the common ground. But what are you gonna do?
I do want to mention that we saw in the Franklin Graham comment, we had the Christianity is being pushed out of the public square. And we visit this every year when the war on Christmas comes up. There is almost nothing scarier than a strong group that is the majority of the country feeling like they're weak and that they're being pushed out. A group that has incredible political and economic and social strength feeling like they're about to be destroyed. I mean, this guy was able to, in just a day and a half, shut down the policy of a private university. And do you think that he thinks that Christians now have a lot of power and influence in society? No, he still thinks that they're victims, that they're on the that they're about to be pushed off the edge into oblivion. And that is a very scary thing for a group that wields so much social power.
When you have an aggressive majority who feels victimized by a tiny minority and lays all the blame on that minority, that's a formula for disaster.